Did you know that what you're eating every day could be quietly sabotaging your health, draining your energy, and fueling chronic pain? That's right, some of the most common foods, ones you might trust or even enjoy regularly, are secretly wreaking havoc on your body. These hidden culprits aren't just bad for your waistline. They're linked to diseases like Alzheimer's, cancer, and heart conditions. The shocking part? They're often marketed as healthy or essential. Imagine reaching for a snack or preparing a quick meal, thinking you're making a smart choice, only to discover it's chipping away at your strength and wellness. These 11 foods are the silent enemies in your diet, causing inflammation, fogging your mind, and leaving your body weaker than it should be. But here's the catch. Most people never realize it until it's too late. Today, I'll expose these harmful foods and, more importantly, show you how to replace them with simple, wholesome alternatives that nourish your body and reclaim your vitality. What you're about to learn isn't just health advice, it's life-saving knowledge. Are you ready to discover the truth about the foods that could be making you weak? You know that feeling when something's not quite right with your health, but you can't put your finger on it? Well, there's a silent troublemaker that might be behind those mysterious symptoms you've been experiencing. It's like having a slow-burning fire inside your body that's gradually weakening your defenses. This sneaky culprit, chronic inflammation, is something that affects millions of Americans over 50, yet most folks don't even realize it's there. The scary part? It's probably happening right now in your body. Remember that time you accidentally touched a hot stove? That immediate pain and redness was your body's natural inflammatory response. That's actually good inflammation at work. But here's the kicker. When that response doesn't shut off properly, it's like leaving your car running in the garage overnight. Your body keeps pumping out inflammatory compounds, day after day, slowly chipping away at your strength. It's no wonder you might be feeling more tired than usual, or noticing those unexplained aches. What's really eye-opening is how this hidden inflammation connects to practically every major health concern we face as we age. Picture it like a master puppeteer, pulling strings behind the scenes of conditions like heart disease, diabetes, and even memory problems. The fascinating part? Scientists have discovered that this inflammation often starts in places you'd never suspect, like your kitchen pantry. That's right, some of your favorite foods might be secretly stoking this inflammatory fire. Here's something that'll knock your socks off. Research shows that people who manage to control their inflammation often report feeling years younger. They're out there playing with their grandkids, traveling the world, and living life to the fullest while others their age are struggling with chronic pain and fatigue. The difference often comes down to knowing which hidden triggers to avoid and which wellness practices to embrace. Ever notice how some folks seem to age like fine wine while others? Well, not so much. The secret often lies in how well they're managing this invisible inflammation. The good news is you don't need fancy medications or expensive treatments to start turning things around. In fact, some of the most powerful anti-inflammatory solutions are probably sitting in your kitchen right now, but there are also some surprising inflammation triggers lurking there too. Let's talk about something that's probably in your kitchen right now, maybe even calling your name from that cookie jar. You know that afternoon slump that hits around 3 p.m. when your strength seems to vanish and you reach for something sweet. Well, that sugar fix might be doing more than just adding a few extra pounds to your waistline. It's actually triggering a cascade of events in your body that can lead to some serious health concerns, especially for folks in their golden years. Here's a mind bender. Your body doesn't actually know the difference between a spoonful of table sugar and a serving of white bread. Both turn into glucose so fast, it's like hitting your bloodstream with a sugar tsunami. When this happens multiple times a day, your body starts sending out distress signals in the form of inflammation markers. It's like having an overworked emergency response team that never gets to rest, leading to chronic pain and discomfort. The really tricky part about sugar is that it's hiding everywhere, wearing clever disguises. Those healthy breakfast cereals? Sugar bombs. That low-fat yogurt? Packed with the sweet stuff. Even that supposedly healthy granola bar might be harboring more sugar than a candy bar. For someone trying to maintain their wellness after 50, these hidden sugars can be particularly problematic, especially when they're already dealing with other health challenges. But here's where things get interesting. Not all sweet things are created equal. Mother Nature's got her own candy store, and it's a lot friendlier to your body. Take a ripe peach, for instance. Sure, it's sweet, but it comes packaged with fiber, vitamins, and compounds that actually help your body process the natural sugars properly. The same goes for berries, which are like little antioxidant bombs that fight inflammation instead of causing it. Want to know something that'll make you think twice about that soda in your fridge? When scientists look at the brains of people who consume lots of refined sugar, they see patterns that look surprisingly similar to those of people with cognitive decline. But don't worry, your sweet tooth doesn't have to make you weak. There are some amazing natural alternatives that can satisfy those cravings without setting off your body's alarm bells. You've probably heard folks talk about processed foods, but let's get real about what's really going on with these modern convenience foods. It's like walking through a minefield of hidden health hazards every time you stroll down those middle aisles of the grocery store. These aren't just regular foods that have been slightly modified. We're talking about products that have been so transformed, they're barely recognizable as food anymore. Ever looked at an ingredient label and felt like you needed a chemistry degree to understand it? That's your first red flag. Here's something that might shock you. Many of these ultra-processed foods are specifically designed to bypass your body's natural strength signals that tell you when to stop eating. They're like those catchy tunes you can't get out of your head, except these are targeting your taste buds and your brain's reward center. The result? Your wellness takes a nosedive while these food companies' profits soar. And the worst part is, many folks don't even realize how these foods are affecting their health until they're already dealing with chronic pain or other issues. Remember when food didn't come with a novel-length ingredient list? Pepperidge Farm remembers, and so, dear cells, every time you eat something ultra-processed, your body has to work overtime trying to figure out what to do with all those artificial additives. It's like giving your internal processing system a complex puzzle to solve, and sometimes it just throws up its hands in frustration. This confusion often leads to inflammation, which can leave you feeling weak and tired. Let's talk about what these foods are actually doing to your brain, and fair warning, it's not pretty. Studies show that folks who eat lots of ultra-processed foods have a higher risk of cognitive decline as they age. It's like trying to run a high-performance car on low-grade fuel. Eventually, things start breaking down. The good news? Your brain has an amazing ability to bounce back when you start feeding it real, whole foods instead. Want to know the real kicker about these ultra-processed foods? They're not even saving you as much time as you might think. Sure, that microwavable meal might take 3 minutes to heat up, but so does scrambling a couple of eggs with fresh vegetables. The difference is, one option supports your health and vitality, while the other, well, let's just say it's making your body work a lot harder than it needs to. Ever wonder why that bagel you had for breakfast left you feeling like you need a nap by mid-morning? Well, there's a fascinating story behind refined flours that might just change the way you think about your daily bread. It's like someone took a perfectly good grain and stripped away all the good stuff, leaving behind what amounts to pure starch. Your health deserves better than that, especially when you're trying to maintain your strength and vitality after 50. The real kicker? This refined flour is hiding in places you might never suspect. Here's something that'll make you think twice about that enriched label on your bread. When manufacturers refine flour, they remove about 22 nutrients. Sure, they add back 5 or 6, but last time we checked, that's not exactly a fair trade. It's like taking a beautiful classic car and replacing all its parts with plastic. Sure, it might look similar, but it's just not the same. This nutritional shortchanging can lead to all sorts of health issues, especially that sneaky inflammation that causes so much pain as we age. And let's be honest, those missing nutrients are exactly what your body needs to stay in top form. Want to know what happens when you eat something made with refined flour? Your body treats it almost exactly like sugar. Imagine pouring pure glucose into your system. That's pretty much what's happening. Your blood sugar shoots up faster than a rocket, then crashes harder than a lead balloon. This roller coaster effect can leave you feeling weak and craving more carbs, creating a vicious cycle that's tough to break. Plus, all those blood sugar spikes are like sending little stress signals throughout your body. But here's where things get interesting. Your body is actually pretty amazing at handling whole grains. When you eat flour that still has all its original parts, the bran, germ, and endosperm, it's like giving your digestive system a complete package of tools to work with. The fiber slows down digestion, the vitamins and minerals support your wellness, and your blood sugar stays nice and steady. Think of it as the difference between taking the scenic route versus racing down the highway at top speed. Now, you might be thinking, but whole grain bread doesn't taste the same. Well, here's a little secret from folks who've made the switch. Your taste buds actually adapt after a few weeks. It's like upgrading from regular TV to high definition. Once you get used to the better quality, you can't imagine going back. Plus, there are so many delicious options these days, from hearty whole grain breads to ancient grains like quinoa and amaranth, that you might find yourself wondering why you ever settled for the refined stuff. Let's talk about something that might be lurking in your fridge right now. Those convenient processed meats that seem so harmless. You know the ones. The ham for your sandwiches, those hot dogs waiting for the next barbecue, or that pepperoni that makes your pizza so tasty. While they might seem like old friends, these processed meats have a dark side that's affecting your health in ways you might never have suspected. The truth about what's hiding in these products might just make you rethink your next sandwich. Here's something that'll raise your eyebrows: those nitrites and nitrates that keep your cold cuts looking pink and fresh. They're not exactly doing your body any favors. In fact, when these compounds interact with your digestive system, they can form some pretty troublesome substances that can weaken your body's natural defenses. It's like inviting a wolf in sheep's clothing into your home. Seems harmless enough at first, but over time, the damage adds up, potentially leading to significant health concerns. The really eye-opening part is how these processed meats affect your body's inflammation levels. Every time you bite into that hot dog or bologna sandwich, you're essentially turning up the dial on your body's inflammatory response. Think of it like adding fuel to a smoldering fire. It might not seem like much at first, but over time, that constant irritation can lead to chronic pain and decreased strength. The science is pretty clear on this one. Regular consumption of processed meats has been linked to various health issues that can seriously impact your wellness. But here's the good news: you don't have to give up meat entirely to protect your health. It's all about making smarter choices. Instead of reaching for those pre-packaged deli meats, why not try roasting your own turkey breast or chicken? Not only will it taste better, but you'll also know exactly what's going into your food. Picture this: a sandwich made with freshly sliced, real roasted meat, crisp lettuce, and ripe tomatoes. Now that's what real food should taste like. Want to know a pro tip that'll revolutionize your lunch game? Try preparing a batch of real, unprocessed meat on Sunday for the week ahead. Season a chicken breast with herbs, roast it up, and slice it thin. You've got sandwich meat that's not only healthier, but tastier too. And for those times when you're really craving that smoky flavor, there are some amazing natural alternatives, like using smoked paprika or liquid smoke in moderation, to get that same satisfying taste without all the questionable additives. Ever wonder why your grandmother's cooking seemed healthier, even when it wasn't exactly health food? A big part of the answer lies in the type of fats she used: simple, natural oils that your body knows how to handle. Fast forward to today, and we're surrounded by these industrially processed hydrogenated oils that your body treats like unwanted invaders. The scary part is how these oils have snuck their way into almost everything on our supermarket shelves. And here's the kicker: they're actively working against your strength and wellness every time you consume them. Let's talk about what happens when you cook with these processed oils. Picture your body as a finely tuned machine. It needs the right kind of oil to run smoothly, just like your car does. When you feed it hydrogenated oils, it's like putting the wrong grade of fuel in your engine. These oils create an imbalance in your body's natural inflammatory responses, leading to increased pain and decreased mobility over time. It's no wonder so many folks are feeling weak and tired. They're literally running on the wrong kind of fuel. Here's something that might shock you. Many of these hydrogenated oils start out as perfectly good, natural oils. But then they're put through an industrial process that transforms them into something your body barely recognizes. It's like taking a fresh, juicy apple and processing it until it's unrecognizable. The result? Your body's natural inflammation-fighting systems get confused and overwhelmed. The really tricky part is that these oils are often hiding in foods labeled as healthy or low-fat. Want to know what's really mind-blowing? The ratio of different fats in your diet is just as important as the types of fats you eat. Think of it like a symphony. All the instruments need to be in harmony for the music to sound right. When you consume too many hydrogenated oils, you're throwing off this delicate balance, especially between omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. It's like having an orchestra where the trumpets are drowning out everything else. The good news is, making the switch to healthier oils is one of the easiest and most impactful changes you can make for your health. Imagine cooking with beautiful, golden olive oil, or adding some rich avocado oil to your salad. These natural fats actually help your body fight inflammation instead of causing it. And the best part? They make everything taste better too. It's like upgrading from processed cheese to a fine aged cheddar. Once you experience the difference, you'll never want to go back. Remember when hardly anyone had heard of gluten sensitivity? Now it seems like everyone's talking about it, but there's actually a fascinating reason why this has become such a hot topic, especially for folks over 50. The wheat we're eating today isn't the same as what our grandparents grew up with. It's been modified and changed in ways that our bodies sometimes struggle to handle. This is particularly true for those of us whose digestive strength isn't what it used to be. The effects can sneak up on you, gradually weakening your system without you even realizing it. Here's something that might surprise you: gluten sensitivity isn't just about stomach troubles. Some folks experience joint pain, brain fog, or even mood changes without ever connecting it to what they're eating. It's like having a leaky faucet behind your walls. You might not see the damage happening, but eventually, the effects become clear. The tricky part is that these symptoms can be so varied and subtle that many people don't make the connection until they take a break from gluten-containing foods. What's really eye-opening is how modern wheat processing has changed the game entirely. Back in the day, grain was harvested, stored, and processed differently, giving it time to naturally break down some of those tough-to-digest proteins. Today's fast-paced production methods skip many of these traditional steps, leaving us with wheat products that pack a much bigger gluten punch. Think of it like trying to digest a compressed file versus one that's been properly unzipped. Your body has to work a lot harder to process it. Now, here's where things get interesting. Not everyone needs to completely avoid gluten, but many people feel a whole lot better when they reduce their intake. It's like turning down the volume on a radio that's been playing too loud for too long. Suddenly, you realize how much it was affecting you. Some folks report having more energy, better digestion, and even improved wellness overall when they make this simple change. But here's the real kicker. It's not just about eliminating foods. It's about replacing them with nutrient-rich alternatives. Want to know a secret that most people miss about going gluten-free? It's not just about buying products labeled gluten-free. Many of those are just as processed as their gluten-containing counterparts. The real magic happens when you start exploring naturally gluten-free whole foods like quinoa, buckwheat, or sweet potatoes. These foods don't just avoid the potential problems of gluten. They actually provide your body with nutrients that can help restore your health and boost your strength. Let's talk about something that might be causing you more trouble than you realize: those highly processed dairy products filling your fridge. While your grandparents probably got their milk straight from the farm, today's industrial dairy products are a whole different story. The transformation these products go through can turn what should be a healthy food into something that might actually be weakening your body's natural defenses. And here's the thing: many folks don't even realize how these processed dairy products might be affecting their health and wellness. Have you ever looked at the ingredient list on your favorite yogurt or cheese product? If you need a dictionary to understand what's in there, that's your first clue something's not quite right. All those stabilizers, artificial flavors, and preservatives are like uninvited guests at a party. They might seem harmless, but they can cause quite a bit of trouble. Your body has to work overtime trying to process these unfamiliar substances, which can lead to inflammation and unexplained pain, especially as we age. Here's something that might surprise you. When dairy goes through extensive processing, it can lose many of its natural benefits while gaining some unwanted baggage. Think of it like taking a perfectly good car and replacing all its parts with cheaper alternatives. Sure, it might look the same on the outside, but the performance just isn't there anymore. The proteins can become harder to digest, and those added ingredients might be doing more harm than good to your strength and overall health. The really interesting part? Your body knows the difference between real, minimally processed dairy and the industrial stuff. When you consume natural, properly prepared dairy products, your body gets excited about all those beneficial nutrients. But give it ultra-processed dairy, and it might respond with inflammation, digestive issues, or other signs of distress. It's like trying to fuel your body with a cheap imitation instead of the real thing. Want to hear something encouraging? There's a whole world of better dairy options out there. Picture rich, creamy yogurt with nothing added but active cultures, or cheese made the traditional way, aged to perfection. These foods don't just avoid the problems of industrial processing, they actually provide your body with nutrients that can help support your health and wellness. The best part? They taste infinitely better too. Sodium is essential for your body's function, but when it's consumed in excess, especially from processed foods, it becomes a silent saboteur of your health. Think about all those ready-made soups, deli meats, and even seemingly healthy frozen meals. They're loaded with sodium, and while the convenience is tempting, the hidden cost is inflammation. Over time, this can weaken your body and exacerbate conditions like high blood pressure, joint pain, and even heart disease. Take, for example, that classic can of chicken noodle soup. It might warm you up on a chilly day, but it's often packed with more sodium than your body needs in an entire meal. A better option? Whip up a batch of homemade soup using fresh ingredients and herbs. Not only will you reduce your sodium intake, but you'll also give your body the strength it needs to thrive, without the extra baggage of inflammation. The real trick is learning to read labels. Most of the time, the sneaky sodium culprit hides under names like sodium benzoate or disodium phosphate. By paying attention to the fine print, you can make smarter choices that protect your wellness. And don't worry, seasoning your food doesn't have to mean sacrificing flavor. Try alternatives like garlic, lemon, or fresh herbs to add a punch to your dishes without overloading on salt. Excess sodium doesn't just harm your physical health, it can leave you feeling emotionally off too. Ever notice how after a salty meal, you feel bloated and irritable? That's your body signaling distress. Reducing sodium not only helps your heart and kidneys, but can also improve your mood and mental clarity. Small changes, like cooking from scratch or swapping out processed snacks for fresh fruits and veggies, can make a world of difference. What's next? While sodium can creep into your diet without you realizing it, another common culprit often flies under the radar. Alcohol, when enjoyed in moderation, can seem harmless, even a way to unwind after a long day. But here's the catch. Overindulgence doesn't just harm your liver, it silently contributes to chronic inflammation, weakening your body's natural defenses. Whether it's a nightly glass of wine or a weekend cocktail, too much alcohol can drain your strength, leaving your immune system vulnerable and your wellness compromised. Imagine how that glass of wine with dinner might feel like a treat, but if it becomes 2 or 3, it can disrupt your sleep, dehydrate your body, and even cloud your mind. Instead, consider savoring a single glass occasionally or opting for alcohol-free alternatives like herbal teas or sparkling water infused with fresh fruit. These options not only protect your health, but also leave you feeling refreshed rather than sluggish. Alcohol's effects don't stop at the physical level. It impacts mental health too. Frequent overindulgence can exacerbate feelings of anxiety or depression, creating a cycle that's tough to break. Have you ever felt more irritable or foggy-headed after a night of drinking? That's your body's way of saying, this isn't helping. Cutting back or eliminating alcohol entirely can give your mind the clarity it craves and your soul the peace it deserves. Even small changes can make a big difference. For instance, if you enjoy socializing with a drink in hand, try switching to sparkling water with lime. You'll still have something festive without the downsides. And the best part? Your body will thank you with improved sleep, better energy, and a sense of vitality that alcohol often dulls. Artificial sweeteners are marketed as the guilt-free solution to your sugar cravings, but they come with their own set of problems. These seemingly harmless additives can disrupt your gut health, trigger inflammation, and even impact your metabolic processes. You might think you're doing your body a favor by choosing sugar-free options, but in reality, they could be quietly weakening your wellness over time. Think about that zero-calorie soda you sip on to avoid sugar. It's a small choice that might feel smart. However, studies suggest artificial sweeteners can alter the balance of your gut bacteria, which plays a critical role in your overall health. A better alternative? Natural sweeteners like monk fruit or raw honey, which provide a touch of sweetness without the risks associated with artificial chemicals. It's all about choosing strength over convenience. And here's the kicker. Artificial sweeteners can even trick your brain. While they don't contain calories, they may still trigger cravings and overindulgence, leading to weight gain and fatigue. Have you ever found yourself reaching for a second or a third snack after a diet soda? That's no coincidence. Your body is wired to respond to sweetness, and when it doesn't get the energy it expects, it keeps demanding more. The ripple effects don't stop there. Artificial sweeteners may also play a role in mood swings and brain fog. Ever felt inexplicably sluggish or irritable after consuming a sugar-free treat? That could be your body's subtle way of saying these substitutes aren't as harmless as they seem. Swapping them out for whole, natural foods can lead to a more balanced mood and a sharper mind. Have you ever stopped to wonder how much better your life could feel if you freed your body from the foods that silently harm it? These culprits might be the reason you've been battling fatigue, unexplained pain, or even that constant mental fog. Imagine waking up with more energy, feeling stronger, and finally reclaiming control of your health. What would that be worth to you? So, which of these harmful foods are you cutting out first? Or maybe you've already started replacing them. What changes have you noticed? Share your journey in the comments below. We'd love to hear your story. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another chance to improve your life and wellness. Your journey to better health starts with one decision, choosing what's right for your body and mind. Let's make that choice together. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.